Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another Figma review, and today I'm taking a look at this right here. And of course, this right here is Figma number 347 RAM from ReZero, starting life in another world. And I'm sure the first question you guys are going to ask is, why am I reviewing RAM here, not REM? And the actual answer is I asked HobbyLink for both, and this is the one that they sent me. The other one was out of stock, just as you would expect. But anyway, this review right here would not be possible if it wasn't for those awesome people at HobbyLink Japan. So if you want one of your own, then check out that link down there in the description. But anyway, before busting this out, let's take a quick look around the box. Through the front there, you can see right into the figure itself, as well as those alternate faces, hands, tray, hair, and potato. There is the right hand side of the box, the left hand side of the box, the top, as well as the bottom. Lastly, let's flip around to the back, and on there you can see what you will look like out of the box and in action. And of course, that's enough about the box. Let's bust this thing open and see what we've got. So there is that clear inner packaging, and once again we can see all that stuff we could see through the front. Once again, it is one of those Figmas that is a little bit light on the accessories. All you get is what you see up here, as well as the alternate hands and base and stuff down here in the bottom. Again, this isn't a character that has a whole lot of stuff. Of course, there isn't a lot you'd expect with this particular character, but still, honestly, I do like to see more in the box. But anyway, out she comes. In here we've got that classic Figma bag, stand, base, and hands. The instructions, which as usual I assume are in both Japanese as well as English. There's the Japanese, there's the English, and once again there's not much to it. It's a pretty simple Figma. But anyway, onto the figure itself. So finally there is Figma RAM out of the box, and what can I say, Max Factory is still undeniably the king of the anime action figure. There's not really much you can fault about this whatsoever. It looks like the character it's meant to look like. The sculpt, paint, and detailing is all on point for the most part. And just all in all, this is exactly what you'd expect from a Figma. Once again, for the most part. Like I said, the colors on here are perfect. They're all in that typical Max Factory matte paint. All the detailing is expertly done. It all looks so good. On mine right here, there is a little bit of splotch of paint. Again, this won't be on all of them. This is just something that happens. But still, it is very noticeable. Besides that, though, the paint work on here is fantastic. All those little pinstripes, they just look absolutely perfect. Some minor little paint flubs up there on the hairband. Nothing awful. Zooming in there on the face, and that is your standard awesome Max Factory Figma level of quality. That just looks perfect. For a face that is just like maybe a centimeter squared, they've nailed so much detail in there. It looks great. However, even though this thing right here looks absolutely perfect, I do have one minor, or you could consider major, complaint. You might have noticed I'm not doing as many Figma videos as I used to, and the reason is, back in 2011 when I got to Japan and started collecting these things, a figure like RAM right here would cost you about 3,000 yen. I'm talking Madoka. That cost 3,000 yen. And to me, that was fine. That was perfect. It was actually the perfect price point, and I really felt like I wanted to collect them. The quality was so good for the price. All in all, I felt like they were the perfect package, but not really anymore. This Figma right here will cost you a whopping 5,700 yen. I mean, seriously, that right there is twice the price of Figma Madoka from, what, 6 years ago? The quality right here is exactly the same as it was back then. Maybe a little better, but not twice as good. And there definitely isn't twice as much stuff in the box. To put that into perspective, that's almost an entire day's work on minimum wage. And that just isn't cool for something this small. It just isn't worth it. I know inflation is a thing, but man, this right here is rough. But anyway, besides that, onto the articulation. There's the head all the way down, all the way up, side to side, and all the way around. Arm all the way up, rotation all the way around, the bend at the elbow, the wrist is that standard Figma joint, ab crunch at the torso to the front and to the back, side to side, and of course rotation side to side. The skirt section can move up at the front, out, and up at the back like that. There is the leg all the way up to the front, all the way out to the back. There is the splits, rotation here at the thigh, bend at the knee, and finally up and down at the ankle, spin, and side to side pivot. All in all, the articulation is pretty much perfect. As for accessories, there is Figma RAM with everything that she comes with. As for faces, we've got that default face which you've seen already, a cute smiling face, as well as this really dynamic and really awesome looking shouting face. Also, as well as this front hair section here, you can pull that off, and we've got one alternate hair section pops on just like that. As for hands, we've got those default fists, a pair of open palmed hands, standard Figma 3mm holding hands, a pair of wide spread open hands, a right hand pointing hand, a right hand for holding the knife, as well as of course the knife, a left hand holding a potato, and finally we have this pair of joined hands, and of course that is for pulling off this pose you can see here on the box with Rem, but I don't have a Figma Rem, so I guess she's just gonna have to hold hands with herself. And the last thing in here then is this tray, which according to the box is for doing this, so I guess that just slots in there like so. Will it hold? Let's really try and wedge that in there, and oh, it worked, great. So that is it for the review. You cannot deny that this right here is pretty much 1/12 scale perfection. Like Ram just walked right out of ReZero in action figure form. Besides a minor paint flub, this thing is top-notch quality. The sculpt, paint, and detail are all par for the course for a Figma. It just looks and feels great. However, whether or not this right here is worth the price is up to you. If you're like me and you've been collecting Figma for a long time, this price point is a little hard to swallow. However, if you do feel like you want one of your own, then check out that link down there in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you'd like to see more Figma reviews in the near future. And of course, I'll see you next time.